Let's face it, when it comes to harem anime, we all feel like we've seen it all. But that's definitely not the case with Girlfriend Girlfriend or Kanojo no Kanojo, a series that aired in the summer 2021 anime season. This is my review of the series, so let's jump into it. Girlfriend Girlfriend opens simple enough, though it doesn't remain that way. It follows a guy named Noya who has recently had his love of his life finally accept his love. Her name is Saki. And after this confession finally being accepted, the two of them start going out. But it doesn't remain simple in the idea that soon after this, a girl named Nagisa confronts him and confesses her love to him. Well, it's kind of unfortunate because he tells her, look, sorry, I already have a girlfriend. But after hearing her story about the fact that she essentially didn't go to school for a long time and studied every single day to essentially become the perfect girlfriend just to be able to confess to him, he finally decides to accept her love. But not only that, but he does not want to cheat on his girlfriend. So his decision is obvious enough. Go to Saki and say, hey, I want to date both of you. Is that okay? He wants to be truthful to her. And after pushing and pushing to Saki about how he basically will promise that he will make both of them happy and he will never cheat on them, even though he's technically two-timing, she finally reluctantly accepts, and the three of them begin to live together and try to keep their three-way relationship a secret as they go on in their days. And thus begins this best put hot mess of a situation where the three of them are living together, keeping a secret the fact that they have basically him, having two girlfriends, a secret from everybody around them. And later on, it gets a little more crazy when you have another girl who finds their secret and also wants to become part of this harem. And so on and so forth. Now, what makes this show so special? Now, I won't come out here and claim that Girlfriend Girlfriend is a masterpiece. What I will claim is that Girlfriend Girlfriend is a harem show that is doing so many things different than what I typically see in a harem show. And it's in this aspect and the personality of the characters themselves that really does set it aside from anything I've really ever seen before. It's a culmination of the fact that Nagisa is extremely opinionated and does not really like to lie. He pretty much, if anything comes to his mind, he will say it. He just got no blockers. There's no blockers there keeping him in check. And so when he thinks of something, he'll say it. He doesn't really like to keep secrets from anybody. And that in part both creates this element of, I hate this guy because he's kind of annoying, but at the same time, I respect this guy because he's truthful and he never really lies about a situation. Additionally, with this element, you add in Saki, who is essentially the straight man character. She's basically the one that's always pointing out the absurdity of the situation, and the character herself is so kind of outraged by all these situations, and the Seiyu does such a great job of conveying that it makes her like a solid pillar in the story itself, and why the comedy and everything works out so well. Additionally, you do have Nagisa, who's kind of added into it, which I don't think really herself is a standout character, but you see the driving force of her commitment, the hard work that she's put in the situation, and just how kind of perfect she is. And so when you bring these three elements together, Naya's inability to basically tell a lie, he always speaks his mind, Saki always pointing out the absurdity of things, and the perfection that is Nagisa that nobody can really deny, it creates this perfect chemistry that is absolutely hilarious. But even still, technically this does kind of start dwindling away. I found myself as I watched this show, at some point the absurdity of this started to lose its flavor. But thankfully what the writer does is injects another element into the show, and that is Rika. And what is Rika? Rika is the obvious addition that you would assume is going to be, well, here's the third girl. But he doesn't accept it at this point. He's already got these two. He will never three-time them, but he'll two-time. And this adds another element. It adds this element of this desperate girl who wants to be added into the group, but Naoya, even though he's added one girl, will not add two girls. And thus it continues a cycle, and it refreshes the chemistry as it goes on. And then, additionally, adding another girl into the mix that adds another element to this whole situation. I think it's a really great design that ultimately leads to a very funny and constantly evolving comedy that definitely sets Girlfriend Girlfriend aside from anything I've seen in a harem show. Like I said, it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess that I haven't seen since something like How Clumsy You Are, Miss Ueno back in winter 2019. This is a show that has this element of chaos that I absolutely love. Every time Naoya sees a situation, the girls kind of question what he thinks. He says it, they freak out, and you can't blame anybody because it's like, Naoya's not lying to you. He's not lying. Girls, that's just how it is. Unfortunately, you're accepting it. It is really great, and I think it works so well in this show. Now, on the opposite end, I don't think this show is a perfect show in any stretch. I think the only thing that really has me disappointed in this show is that a lot of the comedy doesn't get old, but it drags out too long. Meaning that the writer knows how to really kind of mix things up as it goes along, but I feel like the writer likes to take each individual idea or concept and kind of drag them out too far. Every time a skit kind of comes into the situation, say for example, Rika camping outside of their house in order to force Naoya to have to accept her into the home and into the relationship. This segment just drags out for pretty much an entire episode, and very quickly what I find is a lot of these jokes themselves, I'll enjoy them for about half the period of time that they're using it, but then the other half I'm going, please move on. And that's the only thing I'll really have as a discredit to this series, is I think it just pulls its jokes along far too long. And so what I found myself doing is most of the time when I established the joke in the show, I found this urge to basically just skip the rest of the half of them telling that joke because it's a dead horse at that point to me. But still, comedy is subjective, and I think your mileage may vary. You might find those jokes continue to be funny for that period of time, or you might find yourself like me where you're kind of going, okay, you've killed the joke, move on. So I really do think it's one of those things where, yes, I can suggest a series based on the idea that it's a harem doing something different, but I will give the warning that you might find yourself wanting to skip forward as it pulls these jokes along a little bit too long, or even still, you might end up finding them really hilarious and not mind at all, and find the entire thing funny. But with that said, that's my thoughts on Girlfriend Girlfriend, an absolute hot mess of a harem, with some really clever ideas behind it that really does pull it together. I think the seiyus did a fantastic job to bring these characters alive and really selling those moments of outburst and those moments of just absurd confessions. And it's definitely a series that I treasure based on the idea of actually having that uniqueness built around it. But even still, like I said, it does drag out jokes a little bit too much. But even still, that's my thoughts on Girlfriend Girlfriend. I hope you guys enjoyed my review. If you did, leave a like down below. Comment, let me know what you thought of the series, or if you're going to check it out, subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon if you can. And we definitely appreciate all of our supporters. And y'all take care.